Well, it's an honor to be here. Let me tell you. Don't mind me. I'm going to check my phone so I don't bore you too much. Let me tell you just real quick a little bit about I'll just start off a little bit about my family and why this is such an easy thing to support. I've got a daughter that is a cop in Provo, so I couldn't be prouder of that. And last night at midnight, I got a FaceTime call from my son. And if you know what the Navy SEAL testing program is, it's called BUDS. My son is in BUDS. And thank you. It was awesome. I'm on FaceTime, I can see him. He's still wet at midnight. And he says, "Hey Dad, another week of BUDS secured." So it's pretty exciting. Just a little bit about me. I want to share an experience. I'm a former SWAT guy out of Vegas. That's kind of my background. And then I parlayed that into some other things. I've done a lot overseas. As a matter of fact, in 2004, I started my own company, and we were training teams around the world on how to be better at what they did when it comes to tactical missions. And we were doing a lot of stuff in Mexico, which is a pretty violent place. If you're not aware of that, it's pretty scary. And anyway, January 2004, I was approached by some guys. Actually, one of my buddies is a Green Beret. He said, "Go talk to this guy if you're going to be doing CQB stuff in Iraq. He's someone you ought to talk to." And the next thing I know, I'm on a plane to Baghdad working with a bunch of former Navy SEALs who started a company to provide protection for U.S. assets. And so, to be honest with you, most of you, if you haven't been there, I'm just like you. I hadn't been there, and I didn't have a military background. I was a cop, and it was awesome. It was awesome to be surrounded by these amazing, amazing men and operators. But there was something that was happening, and it was interesting. We'd get up in the morning. We lived in what's called a villa, right? So just imagine like a big drug cartel house. That's what it reminded me of. Downtown Baghdad, in this villa with these guys. And every morning we'd get up early and we would go through a fitness routine. And I believe what I was experiencing was CrossFit before anyone called it CrossFit. And it was kicking the crap out of me. Anyway, we'd do it, and I noticed one thing. These guys never cut a corner. If the workout was an hour long, it was an hour long. And the only time you could stop was to puke. And they had a rule. You puke in the garbage can, not anywhere else, because we were in our villa running up and down the stairs and running across the roof and bear crawling and doing all these other weird things that made your body hurt. So I really liked that. I knew that they were working their guts out every morning to be ready for a fight, because the last thing that these guys wanted to do, the worst thing that could happen to them, was not to die, but to fail the guy to the left or the guy to the right, to fail their brother. And it was a different level of brotherhood than I'd ever even come close to seeing as a SWAT operator out of Vegas. So there was an interesting experience that happened shortly thereafter. We would make these runs. If there's any military guys here that have experience in Iraq in the early 2000s, you know what Route Irish is. We would run Route Irish, one of the most dangerous roads in the world. We'd run Route Irish at least 4 times a day. We got blown up, we got shot at, and we passed burning vehicles all the time. But then we'd get out to our post, and we'd be out at a base, for example, and our VIP would be in there for 4 or 5 hours. And so then we'd have lunch, and it'd be 120 degrees, and then our team leader, which was a former SEAL from SEAL Team 2, he'd say, "We're going to go to the range, and we're going to work on exiting a vehicle under fire or working on a rescue or whatever." And we'd put on our gear, and we'd go out there, and we'd do a lot of shooting and running around, and it was crazy. And so I asked him, he's a good friend of mine, I said, "Matty, what are we doing? I'm not sure I understand this, because on the fitness side of it, I have a little bit of an education. I feel like we're just right on the edge of having some heat-related injuries. Why don't we do this in the morning when we get out here first thing?" And he was really, really calm, and he just said, Dave, here's the thing. We're going to be in these vehicles going back. It's still going to be 120 degrees. And vehicle 1's going to get hit by an IED today. And it's going to be burning. And you're going to exit vehicle 2. You're going to run up there 20, 30 yards. You're going to try and grab Tug, one of my buddies. He's going to be in full gear. He's going to be 230 pounds, completely kitted out. He's going to be unconscious. And you're going to be trying to drag him back through flames to cover while you're using one hand to lay down cover fire with your M4. He's like, we train in the most austere, hostile environment we can find, so when the shit really hits the fan, we don't give it a second thought. We leave nothing to chance when it comes to keeping our brothers alive. That made so much sense to me. That was a light bulb moment. It was an epiphany. And I realized when it's not about you anymore, when everything you do is so that you're prepared to win, to overcome, to succeed on behalf of someone else, you can't lose. You can't get tired. Well, you can get tired, but that's just your brain or your body telling your brain you're tired. Because under the right circumstances, when people are depending on you, you're not going to quit. Think of you moms and dads out there. If you had a lost child in the forest, how many days would you hike the mountain looking for that kid? Every day, 24 hours a day. People wouldn't be able to drag you off the mountain. Your body would be telling you to quit, and your mind would be saying, shut up. Because something more important is at stake. That's what I love about the opportunity that you guys have as participants in this. You're going to be tired. Your body is going to ache. Your body's going to tell you you're done. And your mind and your heart have to overcome, and you've got to say, but it's not about me. This crazy race I'm doing today is not about me. It's on behalf of the people that benefit from what you're doing here and the things that you're raising. It's not about me. I know that my son, as he goes through every day 12 to 18 hours of a program where they really are trying to separate the guys that have it from the guys that just don't. They want these guys to quit right now because they can't have weak-minded people in that program. And that's what most of these kids that are going to make it, that's how they do it. They just remind themselves, this isn't about me. They're preparing me to be the solution to a problem for my brothers. I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate the opportunity to come out here and just speak for a few minutes to encourage those of you that are doing this amazing event that I will be honest, I'm glad it's you, not me, especially this early in the morning. But persevere. And let me just leave you with this. I got a phone call from the guy that actually wrote the program, the swim portion of the BUDS program 23 years ago. And he called me out of the clear blue because of some associations I have with some of the teams. And he said, hey, I just want to tell you, I'm encouraging your son. And he said, I tell all these young cadets that are coming through training for the program, I tell them to ask themselves one question before they go ring the bell to say, I'm done, I quit. He's like, I just tell them to say, or ask yourself, am I alive? And if the answer is yes, then you don't ring the bell because you're still in the fight. So I would encourage all of you to just think about that, especially those of you that are making this trek today. No matter how tired you are, just stop and say, am I alive? Yep, it's a good day. Keep going. One step after the other. Thank you.